Hey guys, what is up? Sleeping Knight 77 aka Kyle, back here for the semifinals of the UPC, here against Jake and the Seattle Seadras. Now, the Seattle Seadras are undefeated and very scary. And if you do remember last time, we did have a narrow 3-0 loss. I say narrow 3-0 loss kind of loosely because 3-0s aren't really that close, but it was kind of a close 3-0. I do have plans this time though. I want to go on the offensive early, see if I can kind of pull him back out of his playstyle a little bit. So I'm going to try and keep him off kilter, but we are bringing DS3, Polytoad, Megabanet, Scolipede, Meloetta, and Shaman, and he's bringing basically the same team he brought last time. He is bringing the Weezing as opposed to the Zoroark though, so I do not need to worry about any illusion shenanigans. No, without any further ado, we are just going to hop into it. Now, if you look at my team, obviously there is one dedicated lead, and that is DS3. There's Polytoad obviously, but DS3's basically the dedicated lead. DS3 sets up Stealth Rocks and is going to do as much damage as it can to this Hippowdon. I did make this thing max defensive with Calm Mind and Moonblast specifically, so I can try to do as much damage as I can to this Hippowdon and then scare it out before it tries to slack off. So we have our ceremonial exchanging of rocks, and I do get my one Calm Mind off before he starts earthquaking me. And I'm like, oh good, yeah, great, yay, earthquakes. And it does a lot of damage. Takes me down to almost half, but I do get my leftovers recovery back. And this Moonblast does a decent chunk to this Hippowdon. I'm more than happy with that damage because, again, I wanted to do as much damage as I could to this Hippowdon before DS3, before it killed DS3. DS3 was basically my lead suicide sack. Do as much damage as you can and then pass it on to Shaman or whoever's going to come in. So I do get a second Moonblast off, and it does a... Dang, that does a lot of damage to this Hippowdon. It takes it down to the red, but the Earthquake does take out DS3. Now, my plan in all of this was get Shaman out against Hippowdon, because I am running physical Shaman this week with Swords Dance, with Natural Gift Fairy for the Goodra, because that was his dedicated Shaman counter last time because of Sap Sipper, and Quick Attack for the incoming Crobat after Shaman killed Goodra with Hidden Power Fairy, Natural Gift Fairy. So I do get the Swords Dance off right there. He does switch out into Goodra, and I do Natural Gift Fairy, and it does take out that Goodra. Calc that perfectly. Gone. There's a gone Goodra. Now Crobat comes in on rocks, takes 25%. Quick Attack is going to do at least another 30% to it, and Brave Bird Recoil is going to take it down to the red, guaranteeing that Crobat is going to do absolutely nothing for the rest of the match because of Megabanet in the back and its priority. So Shaman worked out perfectly. I'm more than happy with how Shaman worked out. I'm not sad at all about sacking it right there. He does withdraw his Crobat as fodder later on, and he does send out his defensive wall, which is Weezing. Now, I could have predicted this and gone out into Meloetta, but I wanted to be safe. I wanted to get my Mega off, and I wanted to Shadow Sneak and make sure that that Crobat did not do any more damage to me. And Shadow Sneak does a decent amount to this Weezing, but it does reveal that it is Black Sludge, so it is going to be gaining leftovers recovery. Now, knowing what Weezing wants to do, which is probably Will-O-Wisp, I send out a special attacker, which is Meloetta. Praying for a miss, but not going to get it, as my poor Meloetta gets burned here. And yeah, sad days, because it's going to be taking 6% with the leftovers, and he does still have his Hippowdon with sand in the back. But I am Calm Mind Meloetta, so it does, and of course being the psychic type it does scare out the Wheezing, and he does send out his Sand Stream Hippowdon here to rack up the damage on my Meloetta, so I'm not getting my leftovers recovery at all back now. I'm just taking burn damage, but I do get one Calm Mind up, which is fine by me, because that one guaranteed Calm Mind, any move I really do here is going to take out this Hippowdon, should he choose to leave it in. So we both get our leftovers recovery, and I take my burn damage. I do Psyshock here, and I do take out the Hippowdon. So we're going kind of tit for tat here, tit for tat. He is still up one Pokemon, but as soon as he sends in that Crobat, it's going back to an even match. Now here, I made a misplay on, I made a misprep actually. Had I speed crept this Meloetta for regular Gallade, with the Stealth Rock damage and the Sand damage, Shadow Ball at +1 would have taken out this Gallade. However, I did not speed creep it, and Close Combat is going to take out the Meloetta right here, which is unfortunate, because Meloetta could have done a lot more damage this battle had I prepped a little better for the Gallade, which of course is the one thing that I probably should have prepped for, because Mega Gallade was the one thing that just ran through the entire league this year. But I do send out Scolipede here, because I know it's going to scare out the -1 Mega Gallade, especially with Mega Horn staring it in the face. I do Protect because I do want a speed boost here, seeing what it wants to do. Guess kind of trying to rack up Sandstorm damage upon that Mega Gallade, but he does switch out into his defensive wall of Wheezing, which is fine. I'm not too mad at all about that. But he does reveal that he has a Sludge Bomb here, as I switch out into Politoed. Had I Baton Passed, that probably would have been the better play, but I do get my Rain up. And he does Sludge Bomb here. And it does a decent chunk of damage, but I do get my leftovers recovery back. Oh god. I do get my leftovers recovery back. And I do have Psychic, just in case he did want to bring this Wheezing, as well as kind of for the Crobat. But of course the Crobat is low enough where he's going to send it in right here, and it is going to fall, and we are back to 3-on-3. Now, kind of predicting the Mega Gallade here. I needed max defense Politoed, which I did bring this week, and I needed to come through right here. He does go for Zen Headbutt as opposed to Close Combat, which is good because he crits right here, and a crit Zen Headbutt does not take me out. And I go for Scald here, and we crit for crit, but I get my burn. He does not get his flinch, I get my burn. And what that burn guarantees is that with this turn and the following turn, that Mega Gallade is not going to be able to do any more damage should he choose to stay in, so Politoed and Mega Gallade are going to go down together, leaving us at 2v2. Scolipede and Mega Banette versus Manaphy and Wheezing. Not exactly the best matchup on my part, as he does send out his Manaphy here in the rain, which is of course always very, very scary. Now, I wanted to go for max damage here, do as much damage to this Manaphy as I could, kind of gauge what he wanted to do, if he wanted to go for a Tail Glow, but instead he just goes for a straight Scald. It does not kill me in the rain, so thank you, Mega Banette, for not getting burned. or getting crit in that matter, and for hanging on for dear life, kind of predicting that he just wants to take me out right here, I go for the Prankster Destiny Bond, and he does Scald, and it is going to take me out, leaving us at 1v1 Scolipede versus Wheezing. Now Scolipede is Life Orb this week, but of course, as previously mentioned, Wheezing is his defensive wall. So, he's going to send out his Wheezing, I'm going to send out my Scolipede, and we are both going to take Stealth Rock damage. Me first, taking my 25%, him taking his 12%, and I'm going to go for the Rock Slide here. Kind of playing for a flinch, and I get a nice crit here. I do take my Life Orb damage, and I do get a flinch here, which is turn 1, done. Turn 1, survived. And I do get my speed boost, doesn't really matter, because I'm faster than Wheezing anyway. Rock Slide here, takes it down to the red. I do take my Life Orb damage, and he does not flinch but goes for Will-O-Wisp and misses. Turn 2, survived. So, it came down to this last turn. Was I going to hit Mega Horn? Yes, I did. And it does take out the Wheezing. Of course, all the respect in the world to Jake for his season. He, like I said, went undefeated the entire regular season and had a bye into the semifinals. And it was a very good match on his part. Unfortunately, it did come down to some hacks at the end, the crit for crit, the burn on Goliath, and of course the flinch on Wheezing and the miss of Will-O-Wisp on his part all hurt him in the end. But for me, I get to move on to the finals, and I am more than happy about that because it's just been a wild ride for the UPC. I can't really explain it, but I'm more than happy to be in the finals. We are facing Roshan, and if you do remember my match versus him, that was kind of the match on Showdown that neither of us kind of prepped for because it was like a late week thing, and neither of us could really prep too well for it. So neither of us really has any plans going into this match. But leave a comment and a like down below if you guys do like this video, or if you guys do want me to do something different when I am commentating. I do apologize for the hoarse voice. I've recorded a couple videos. A couple of them have not been recorded because I did not hit record. So yeah, sad face, but oh well. It happens, right? But until next time, guys, I'm Sleeping Knight 77, aka Kyle. Peace.